What's up, everybody? I'm Damon Hatfield here with Brian Altano.
Hey.
We're big Zelda fans. That's why our interest was piqued this morning when we heard that Japanese developer Grezzo, not an Italian developer.
It sounds really Italian.
The studio that made both the 3D versions of both Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask are hiring for a new project, an emergency recruitment, they say. It's an emergency. They need new developers for this project. And their message is, would you like to make a Legend together 2? The 2 is there because this is the second time they've posted that message. The first time was when they were hiring for Majora's Mask 3D.
Okay.
So it kind of seems like maybe they're porting another older Zelda game, maybe to Switch. What do you make of all this, Brian?
First of all, I think that's fantastic news, and the wording is really both vague and also very specific. Usually in these listings for job listings, they're like, we need a 3D environmental artist, or like, we need a sound guy. But this is very, very, very specific. We went through the sort of ranks of every Zelda game ever made. Almost every single one of them has been ported multiple times. You look at Link to the Past, it's on 3DS. You got Zelda 1 and 2 have been everywhere to like the NES Classic and stuff like that. The 2 that have never really left their platforms are Skyward Sword and Link Between Worlds. Now, aside from that, you have the Phantom Hourglass and DS games. I'm going to put those aside from that because they're touchscreen games, right? Like they're great, they're fine, but you know, okay. Not so much Spirit Tracks, but specifically Skyward Sword, I think is the kind of game that I think we'd love to see come back in some capacity, specifically with no motion controls. And I think the Switch could be the place to do that. Yeah,
I would love to. I actually never played Skyward Sword because it just came out at a time that I just wasn't interested in waggling my way through a big Zelda adventure.
I don't blame you.
But yeah, I would love to see that on Switch. I just wonder though, that game, Skyward Sword, is like on a whole other level technically from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. So it would seem like a much bigger project for Grezzo to take on.
So, yes and no, because the way Grezzo sort of updated the graphics for Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, they made those games look like gorgeous, almost modern Zelda games. Like, I would argue that Majora's Mask 3DS had textures that were better than most of what we found in Skyward Sword. Skyward Sword was a lot of like interesting gameplay sort of masked in this artistic style that kind of like hid the fact that it didn't really have a lot going on under the hood. This was a Wii game after all, and it had this kind of like watercolor.
The Wii was an SD console.
Yes, exactly. So it had this sort of watercolor appeal to it. Everything was sort of fuzzy and cloudy when you got very far away. So I think it's the kind of game that could definitely benefit from getting a second life, especially because it's something that when you go back and try to play, which you can do only on the Nintendo Wii, or if you buy it on the Wii U Virtual Console, you'll notice that it hasn't aged well. It actually didn't look good to begin with, I'll argue that, but it definitely hasn't aged well. So it's definitely worthy of an upgrade.
Now what about A Link Between Worlds? I wonder how that game would play on the Switch.
Sure.
Or on a big TV for that matter.
For sure, yeah. I think that one probably would fare a little bit better because stylistically it's mostly a top-down 2D game, right? It lets you pop into 3D, which I think you can give or take with the actual 3D slider on or off. But Nintendo just announced a new 2DS green version that comes with Link Between Worlds. Or actually, no, it comes with Ocarina of Time 3DS in 2D. So I think that's like, all of those games sort of can get ported in any direction. I don't really know how much that would benefit from like a new coat of paint, you know? How much do you, like, how high res do you really want to see that 2D sprite Link walking around the side of a building? But still, it's an awesome game, one of my favorites, and deserves to be revisited.
I guess it's possible they could be bringing one of the other ones that they've already worked on, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, to Switch. We're still waiting on Nintendo to announce their virtual console sort of solution for the Switch.
You also have to keep in mind that both of the games they worked on before this were 3DS games, and they just launched a 3DS game in Metroid, and they're launching 2 new 3DS games this fall with Pokemon. So there is a substantial chance, even though people like you and I have moved on, millions are still sticking around on that 3DS. So there's a chance that they make something and they port it to 3DS. So maybe, I mean, it doesn't make any sense to upgrade A Link Between Worlds because that's already there. But could we get a portable Skyward Sword? Who knows?
Or maybe maybe one of the other ones like you mentioned, Spirit Tracks.
That's such a weird one to go back to, too. I don't know. Either way, there's like a long history of really cool Zelda titles. I'd like to see them tackle one of them. Or maybe they'll just put The Legend of something else. The Legend of Mario.
The Legend of Mario. Would play. The Legend of Link. That's an idea that people have talked about for a long time. Maybe they're bringing the Wand of Gamelon, the CDI game.
Oh yeah, huge, highly revered classics. Some of the greatest, just the greatest games of all time.
Dear viewers, let us know what older Zelda game you would like to see remade, remastered, revisited, either on the Switch or on the 3DS. And as soon as we know what this project is, would you like to make a Legend Together 2? You'll hear all about it here at IGN.